What's going on, guys? Alain Gonzalez here, MuscleMonsters.com, and today I got a pretty cool video for you guys. Today I'm going to share 12 of my must-follow rules for when I'm getting shredded. Alright? So, first I want to say that I'm not saying that any of you need to follow any of these rules. Alright? Some of you may only need to use some of them. Some of you may not need any of them. Some of you might need all of them and then some. So these are just my rules, and I figured that I would share them with you. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the list of each rule, and then I'm going to explain briefly what each one means. Alright, so if you want more information on each one, then I'll put a link in the description to the article itself, and you can read it there. So without further ado, let's get right into these rules. Alright, schedule your workout first. Alright, if I know I have a vacation or a photo shoot or a show 16 weeks from now, then I am going to make sure that the entire 16 weeks, as far as workouts go, is scheduled. I'll know what workouts I'm doing, what days, and at what times. And the reason I do this is because a lot of people, what they'll do is they will try to fit their life or their workout into their life. But I'm a little bit of the opposite. I already have my workout, the times and the days, and I'm committed to those. That way it's easier for me to schedule other things like hanging out with friends, going fishing, sitting down to do work, etc. Alright, so I'll give you a quick example of how I use this. Alright, we needed to get some work done on the house recently, so my wife called whoever she needed to call to set up an appointment. So she said, "Hey Alain, when are you going to be available for this person to come?" All I had to do was look at my schedule for the week, see what day I was off from the gym, and just say this day at this time would be perfect. And that was it. Alright, so it just makes my life a little bit easier. Number 2, stock the fridge accordingly. Alright, one thing about me is that what I have in my fridge and my pantry goes according to my fitness goals. So for example, if I am bulking and I'm, probably at my highest and my calories are at their highest and I'm eating a ton of fats and a ton of carbs, or whatever the case may be, then my fridge will reflect that. You won't see fat-free yogurt, you won't see egg whites and things of that nature. However, when I am cutting and when I'm on lower calories, for example, lower fats, then you'll look in my fridge or my pantry and you'll notice that a lot of the stuff I have is high in protein, decent in carbs, and low in fat. Alright, so that just makes it easier for me to hit my macronutrients. Alright, number 3, and you might find this crazy, but no cheat days. And before you say, "Are you fucking crazy?" let me just explain. First off, when I cut, I don't reduce my calories drastically. I still keep a very high amount of carbs in my diet. Not to mention, I do one refeed day per week where my carbs almost double. So in reality, I don't have to have a day where I indulge or binge. It's just not necessary for me. Okay? Number 4, control calories and don't let them control you. Alright? This one is pretty basic. Alright? So let's say you are having a day and you're calculating your macronutrients, right? And you happen to go over on your fats by 10 grams. And then maybe that meal caused you to go over by like 25 on your carbs. What most people will do is they'll say, "Oh, well, fuck it. I already messed up today, so I'm just going to, ditch this day and I'm just going to eat whatever I want because it's already screwed up." That's not the right thing to do for me. What I'd rather do is minimize the damage, so I'll leave the damage where it is, and then I'll schedule my calories accordingly for the next 2 or 3 days or 1 to 2 days, depending on how bad I did. And that way, at the end of the week, I'm still at my calories for that week, regardless if I went a little over a day or whatever the case may be. Okay? Number 5, counting calories when cutting is not a guessing game for me. Alright, and here's why. Before I started weighing food, I used to, let's say for example, pour myself a bowl of cereal. Okay, and so I would go in my Fitness Pal and I would put in, 1 serving. When I started weighing my food, I noticed that I was calculating way off. When I would calculate things like chicken, I was much too high. And then when I was calculating things like cereal, something that I thought was one serving was actually like 2 or 3 servings. All right, so you can kind of get an idea of how off I was for my total calories. All right. Next rule, don't spend it all in one place. All right, when I'm dieting, right now, for example, my fats are pretty low, in my opinion. They're at 50 grams for the day. So I don't want to wake up in the morning and have, 30 grams of fat with my breakfast, because then that's going to cause me for the rest of the day to have to manipulate my meals to fit, the last 20 grams for the rest of the day. All right. Next one, eating out strategically. Now, first of all, when I'm cutting for something serious like a show or a photo shoot or whatever, I don't like to eat out at restaurants that much because it's hard to calculate the calories there. The chef is not in the back, measuring all your stuff in most cases. All right. So instead, what I'll do is, say for example, I am gonna go out to dinner. All right. So we know, okay, tonight we're going out, to the ale house to watch the fights, and we're gonna have dinner there. So I'll go online, I'll look at the menu, and then whatever I want to have that night, I'll decide right then and there and put it into my calories. All right, and that way, all I have to do is kind of eat throughout the day, and my calories for that meal is already accounted for. So when I get there, I already know this has already been accounted for, and I can have a nice meal with my family. All right. This is the next rule, I never add cardio and decrease calories at the same time. So just briefly, what I'll do is I'll follow my diet and my training, and I'll hit a plateau, all right, where you don't lose any weight that week. So what I'll do is I'll add a little bit of cardio, all right, maybe a day for like 15, 20 minutes. And then I'll keep my calories the same. So I'll continue that until I hit another plateau. Once I do that, then I'll decrease my calories slightly. And then I'll kind of just continue, repeating this cycle. All right, and that's going to ensure that I can always keep my calories as high as possible and my cardio as low as possible. And that's going to overall help me maintain my muscle mass. All right, the next one, this one is very important for me, is be patient. As you guys have noticed, I take a very slow and calculated approach when I'm cutting. So I don't expect to lose, 10 pounds in a month. All right, I expect to lose maybe a quarter of a pound, maybe a half a pound each week. All right, but I know that this is beneficial to keep my strength, to keep my muscle mass, to keep my sanity, to keep my metabolism healthy. So I have to be patient. All right, this is a big one. The next one is big for me. Never avoid social gatherings due to diet. All right, you'll hear about a lot of bodybuilders who have to put their social life on hold in order to prep for a show. And I'm not saying that's wrong at all. However, this is just not something that I am going to do. All right, I'm not going to miss out on precious moments, I guess you could call them, because of my diet. So, for example, if there's a birthday party for one of my friend's kids that I have to go to on Saturday, then I'm just going to go, and if the food there does not fit what I can have, then I'm not going to eat it. Or what I'll do is maybe I'll text them beforehand and say, hey, what's available there to eat? And I'll calculate it into my daily intake so I can go there and then have a good time. Worst case scenario, I'll just bring my own food, as douchey as that sounds, but I'm not going to miss the social gathering just due to my diet. It's just not going to happen. I don't think it's fair to anybody. Okay, next one, and this is number 11. Always keep the end in mind, all right? For most people, normal people like me and you, maybe we're not bodybuilders or, pro bodybuilders or whatever the case. So it's very easy for us to say, you know what, I really don't need to cut anymore, or I don't want to cut I'm just going to go back to bulking. A lot of the time, what happens with me is I'll feel flat. My arms will look skinny again, and someone will make a comment like, "Hey man, you look skinny," or whatever the case, and that kind of bums me out. All right, but and as much as sometimes I want to just say, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to try to put on some more size, I got to keep the end in mind. All right, so I think about things like, and this is partially why I always schedule a deadline. All right, so I have a deadline. So regardless if I'm shredded or not, that vacation is going to be there. Regardless if I'm shredded or not, that photo shoot is going to be there. All right, but one thing I like to do is maybe like have old pictures of me from when I was shredded for my first show, or just things like that that kind of remind you of what you're aiming for. All right, and then last but not least, healthy sleeping habits. But more importantly, it's about being up during a time where your body is primed for you to work out and when you are most productive. So a lot of people are most productive at night, so they can stay up really late and get up really late, and that's fine because then they can go to the gym when they feel primed, and then they have time to work at night when they're most productive. For me, I have to get to sleep by midnight, no later than midnight, unless I'm out watching fights or something like that. And then I don't like to get up any later than 9 a.m. This ensures me, one, I am getting adequate sleep, and two, I'm up when I am primed for my workout and during the time when I am most productive. All right, so those are my 12 must-follow rules for when I'm getting shredded. If you have your own, if you have any ideas, or if you will benefit from any of these, please let me know in the comment. I'd love to hear back from you. If you enjoyed this, make sure to click the like button below. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and don't forget, the Muscle Monsters No Excuses shirts are available. I'll put a link in the description. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.